Welcome to another handy lesson. In today's video, we're going to talk about Suggestopedia. Suggestopedia is one of the best methodologies that we can find, but also one of the most controversial ones, as it follows its own approach and its own learning paradigm. Suggestopedia is also known as the Lozanov's method, after Georgy Lozanov, who created the methodology back in the late 70s, when there was a big boom about the subconscious mind learning processes. Back in that time, there were lots of programs that offered you quit smoking, for example, or learning a second language through listening to a tape during the night while you were asleep. And by doing that, after a while, your subconscious mind was going to get the information, and it was going to program and condition your behavior and conduct. Therefore, you could learn anything in that way. Well, based on those premises, Georgy Lozanov came up with a different methodology for teaching Italian, actually, and it was applied to teach all languages. The Suggestopedia method. The Suggestopedia method itself, the way that it should be taught, has specific principles. The goals are to learn at accelerated pace. It's fast learning. Students learn in relaxing environment. There is no stress on the learning process. Students also focus on communicative use rather than form. This is a functional approach methodology, meaning that it is not important if the student is accurate or not, as long as he is able to communicate and express his own ideas, feelings, or needs. The teacher avoids negative feelings and limits to learning through music, colors, pictures, and so on. Therefore, error correction is not approached in this methodology, as it is believed that students are going to acquire the language through the subconscious mind in an inductive way. Errors, as it says there, are not immediately corrected. It is expected that through the time, learners are going to correct their own mistakes. And translation is also allowed because, as Lozanov says, it clarifies dialogues and meaning, and it makes it clearer for students to learn. Definitely, the Suggestopedia method was not created for teaching young learners, aka children. It was meant to teach adults because of its own teaching framework. The Suggestopedia class should go like this. There is a presentation, and then there are two other moments that are called first and second concerts, and finally, the practice. Suggestopedia is based on the premise that music enhances learning. Therefore, music is a crucial, relevant part and feature of the Suggestopedia method. In the presentation part, it says this is a preparatory stage in which students are helped to relax. The teacher or the instructor should play background music and ask students to lay down. By the way, the classroom in Suggestopedia is not a traditional one. You should have a more relaxing environment, and it should look more like a bedroom rather than a classroom, as you have your sofa or foamy floors where you can lay down. The colors of the room should prompt you or influence you to get relaxed. So everything is made for that. Then in the presentation moment, the teacher plays some background music and the learners are just relaxing. Then it comes the first concert or active concert, in which the teacher is going to present the material to be learned, accompanied by music. The material is usually a text, which is read by the teacher or explained sometimes to the students, but not in an extensive way. Maybe just translating to give explanation of what the topic is going to be about. Then the second concert, students are laid or closed with closed eyes, sitting down under sofas or chairs, and the teacher is going to be reading the text, almost whispering the text, while the music is being played all around the classroom. And that is going to take the most of the time of the class. Finally, in the end, the teacher is going to lead learners to be waking up and getting conscious again, and is going to ask some brief and short questions. And that is called the practice moment. Once that is done, the whole Suggestopedia class has finished. So the strengths of this methodology is that the students were able to address learning needs and styles of every student. I mean, it really helped the students to learn in a fast way. It guaranteed that faster success rate among other ELT methodologies. It increased the retention and recall of material and long-term memory. As it was true, the information went straight to the subconscious mind, and therefore long-term memory was going to retain that information in a better way. It promoted creativity as well as the learning and social competencies among the students. And it was believed that students were going to be motivated coming to classes because they were going to have a different experience. However, the weaknesses of the methodology is that there is no direct grammar instruction, and some students may never ever participate orally in class, and they rely, it says, on verbal output that could, I mean, they were not going to practice the writing skill. And also, literacy in language is not stressed. Therefore, even students will spend a long time going to classes. They were going to be able to communicate, but they were not going to be able to master the language or reaching higher levels such as C1, C2, sometimes not even a B2 level. The role of a teacher here is, I mean, it is completely teacher-centered because the teacher is the authority in the classroom. He is the organizer, controller, prompter, and everything, and the only resource. The teacher says what is done and what is not done during the class. But they should provide this secure and relaxing environment. The teacher should be able to show absolute confidence in the methodology. Some students might reject the style of learning through Suggestopedia. So the teacher's responsibility is to bring them and convince the students that this is a good way of learning. Students, on the other hand, should be completely committed to the learning process towards this. So they should just rely on what the teacher says and that the methodology is useful so they can commit to the activities. And when the teacher asks them to relax, they will go ahead and relax. They are expected then to respect and follow the rules so they can succeed through this methodology. The role of the resource. Well, the resource is basically music. The support materials is just text, some handouts that can be provided to students, but that is not necessary to be done. So that is basically the way in which we approach Suggestopedia. Now it is time for you to practice. Check it from your PDF and go ahead and practice Suggestopedia method.